Hey friends, it's Candace. So it's been a little while since I have added a post about my breast cancer journey. And just if you're new to this, I was diagnosed at 35. Next week I will be 39. I had a lot of procedures and a lot of different treatments and things. So the last time I spoke on this topic, I had finished my chemotherapy treatments, and my tumor had grown back, and then I ended up having to have my right breast removed. They didn't take both breasts at the same time because the increased possibility of infection. So the plan was to do the right breast first, heal from that, start radiation, then do the left breast and do reconstruction at that time. So I wanted to talk a little bit about radiation. My very first doctor's appointment with my doctor's team, I remember walking in and we went through everything, and my oncologist said, look, chemo is going to be the hardest part. Recovering from surgery is going to be a hard part, but once you get to radiation, that'll be a breeze. Unfortunately for me, it was not a breeze. That was probably the hardest time for me, and I'll explain a little bit about that later. But I ended up having, I'm probably going to get this wrong, but intensity modulated radiation therapy. So IMRT, which is a little bit more of it's different than I was expecting, I guess, of radiation. So it's more intensified treatments where they shoot beams from different angles to make sure that they get that area. And the reason why they did that, changed to that type of radiation, was because my tumor had grown back during my second chemo treatment. So during Taxol, the tumor had grown back to almost its original size, and so they wanted to make sure that it didn't grow back again, even after it was removed after surgery. So they did this more intensified radiation treatment. Now, I was supposed to start. I went in to go get the markers put on me, and I was supposed to start radiation. I believe it was the next day, or maybe it was the next week. But anyway, it was soon. We had a date, we had a time, all the things. And the day before or the week before, I got a call, and it was from the insurance company, and they said, we're sorry, we're going to have to deny your claim for this insurance. We don't think it's necessary for you to do this type of radiation. It hasn't been proven or researched enough, whatever. It was a long conversation, but they basically told me they denied my radiation. And so I had no idea what to do. So I called my oncologist. My oncologist said that I would have that type of radiation. That's what he recommended for me because of the situation that I was in, and that he would do a one-on-one consulting call with the insurance. And so I had to wait, I think, an additional week or two before I started radiation. And in fact, he did justify it enough to where they would approve it, and so they did approve my radiation. I had posted on social media about that night, and I was blown away at the response of people who said, it doesn't matter. Sorry, I'm gonna get emotional. It doesn't matter what it costs. You need it, and we're gonna make it happen. And so that was something that really, I've spoken before about how my community and my friends and my family showed up for me. And that was just another way during that time that people just blessed me. And thankfully, radiation ended up being covered by insurance, so we didn't have to do any fundraisers, or nobody had to give their money, and I was so thankful for that. But I was definitely blessed by the support. Sorry, let me get myself together. By the support that people showed me during that time. So I told you that it was really difficult for me during that time. I had 25 radiation treatments 5 days a week. So Monday through Friday, I would typically have to be there between 7:30 and 8:30. They tried to get my appointments scheduled first thing in the morning so I could leave straight from there and go to work. I live in a town, 2 towns over from where the hospital was. And so it was about a 30 to 45-minute drive there, and then I would have to drive back to my town to work. So just adding in that additional drive every day, and then making sure that my kids got to school, because a lot of times my appointments were before they could be dropped off at school. So there was a lot of additional stress added during that time, and then just your body, doing that 5 days a week, your body is exhausted. And so anyway, I went in and I would get my radiation treatment, and then I would go to work after that. It was also particularly hard because of the type of radiation that it was. My friend was going through radiation at the same time, and we would discuss things, and I would ask her, like, do you have to hold your breath? Do you have to have the same breath each time? And so with that radiation in particular, I would have to breathe the same breath each time when they told me to. And I'm an overthinker sometimes. And so one of the problems I had with that was I would be like, ooh, that breath wasn't good enough, or that wasn't long enough, or whatever. And so it felt like it took so much longer to go through the treatment than it should have. It was supposed to be like a 20-minute in and out. Most of the time it was more like 40, 45, sometimes an hour. And so it was taxing in that capacity as well. And then radiation just is hard on your body in general. And so I struggled with that. Also, I started having allergic reactions. I still to this day don't know what it is, but once the radiation treatments were over, those reactions went away. So I don't know if it was my body's reaction to the radiation treatment or if it was something else. And then also it was during the middle of winter, and I have a tendency to get sick during winter and kind of keep a sickness. I coughed, which is a normal thing for where they do the radiation. It's a normal thing to have this deep cough, but I just could never get over being sick during that time. And so that was a struggle as well, just wearing on your body. And so when radiation was over, I was so thankful. It was probably my biggest win of the different treatments and things, because I was just exhausted and my body needed a break. And so shortly after radiation, after I rang the bell, I did take about a month break, and then I got put on some medication that was it was an oral chemo, Xeloda, for the next 6 months. Ended up having a hard time with that as well. I don't know, again, if it was my body just tired or what, but I ended up having to lower the dosage because my hands and my feet started to swell, and to the point where I couldn't hardly walk on my feet, just in everyday life. So that was a struggle as well. I did that for 6 months, managed to get through that. The next one I will talk about my major surgery and what that all looked like and how that all went. But again, as I go through these videos, it's just to give people insight into what others go through when they're going through a chemo treatment or a radiation treatment or surgeries after cancer. It's also about awareness and making sure that you are listening to your body and doing the things that you need to do, your self-checks, your yearly mammograms, to kind of keep yourself ready and keep yourself from having to go through as much as I ended up having to go through. And I know it's not always possible just by finding something early, but early detection is key in helping with those things and making sure that the cancer's caught prior, as early as possible. So I hope you have a great weekend, and thanks again. See you soon.